Alrighty, so let's keep going with our discussion on how we're going to write polar or trigonometric complex numbers. Alrighty, so remember, we talked about this way back at the start of class, where x equals r cosine times the cosine of this angle. That's going to be this distance right here. Y is going to be r times the sine of theta. That's how we're going to find y. R is going to be found by doing the square root of x squared plus y squared. You know what? Why don't we do this? Why don't we get some colors going here? This x value, what we're talking about is that distance. When I say y, what I'm talking about is this distance. R is this distance here. Boom. That's that distance r. And then we've got our x and we've got our y. And we've got the y and we've got the x. And then theta is going to be this angle right there. All right, those are all the things we're going to find. And remember, so the tangent theta being y over x, to find theta, we're going to do the inverse tangent of y over x. And then we can say y over x, if you remember, is going to be y times 1 over x. We're going to keep the y value of our point the same and multiply by the reciprocal of our x value on that point. And r right here is going to be my magnitude, because it's the distance from the origin to that point. All right, now let's see if we can work with this a little bit. Let's convert from the rectangular form which they gave us. Remember, this is a plus bi. We have our real component and our imaginary component. Let's put it into trigonometric form. Our trigonometric form is going to be r times cosine theta plus I, because this is the imaginary part, sine theta. And when we do our answer, we're going to do it in radians. So let's make our rectangular coordinates. So here is my x value, and my y value is going to be at 1. So we're going to come to the left. Negative radical 3, or to the left radical 3, and we're going to go up 1. This lets us find r. We're going to find the length of our hypotenuse here. R is the square root of negative radical 3 squared plus 1 squared. So that's going to be the square root of 4. So this has a magnitude of 2. Now we need to find theta. Theta can be found by just taking the inverse tangent of y over x, which is 1 over the negative square root of 3. Well, for this point, I think, okay, what x values? I need an x value with a radical 3 in it. Well, that's going to be negative 3, a radical 3 over 2. We're going to take the reciprocal of it and do that. So what y value would have this 2 cancel out? So here's my points. Here's y, here's 1 over x. So this point for my reference angle is really, the point for my reference angle is really going to be, I just wrote it down. I had a total brain fart. Negative radical 3 over 2 and 1/2. There's the point for my reference angle. That reference angle right there. And that is pi, that reference angle is pi over 6. That's the reference angle. So that means the angle itself is 5 pi over 6. So there's my theta. So I've got r, which is what I needed. I've got theta, 5 pi over 6. So the rectangular form, negative radical 3 plus I, can be rewritten as r, which is 2, times cosine theta plus I. Oops, darn it, it's not theta. It's not theta. We said it was 5 pi over 6. 5 pi over 6. And then I sine 5 pi over 6. And then if I condense this, we can say 2 cis 5 pi over 6. Boom. Not so bad. I know that one was a little choppy, so why don't we go ahead and do B in class when we see each other. All right, so let's go the other way. Let's convert from trigonometric form to rectangular form. So let's express 2 times cosine 300 degrees plus I sine 300 degrees in rectangular form. So I don't know about you. I have a hard time freehanding a polar grid. So I always just go to my rectangular because I know what this is saying. So we want to come around 300 degrees. 300 degrees. So that's going to be all the way over here in quadrant 4. There's my 300 degrees. We are told that this is an R value of 2. Now what we need to find is my X value, how far out we go X, and how low we go on the Y. Well, if this is 300, that's going to put us down. So that gives me a reference angle of 60. So, and if we do our 60, we get, we are going to be at 1/2 negative radical 3 over 2. There's that point on my unit circle. So when we're doing this, we're going to have the cosine of 300. So I have R times cosine of 300. Well, cosine is X plus I sine 300. So that's negative radical 3 over 2I. And now let's go ahead and distribute with the 2. So 2 times 1/2. 2 times 1/2 is 1 plus 2 times negative radical 3 over 2I is negative radical 3I. Well, we don't normally write plus a minus, plus a negative. We're just going to say 1 minus radical 3I. Some people like to put that, we'll also put the I in front. That way you don't think that the I is still under the radical. Makes it look just a little bit nicer. Boom. And when we get together in class, let's do B in class together.